All right, so we're back and ready for another deep dive.
Looking forward to it.
Today we're looking at a pretty wild incident in the NHL.
Oh, yeah, this was a big one. Everyone was talking about it.
I bet. So picture this. Flyers hosting the Avs, right?
Philly crowd, gotta be electric.
Totally. So puck drops, places going nuts, and then boom.
Wait, the Dunning and Manson thing, right?
Yep. Ref Mitch Dunning and Avalanche D-man Josh Manson just collide out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was scary looking. I remember seeing the replay. Just blindsided him.
It was wild. And you know what makes it even crazier? Dunning used to play defense himself.
Really? I didn't know that. In the OHL, right?
Yeah, the Ontario Hockey League. So he's been on the other side of those hits.
Wow, that adds a whole other layer to this, doesn't it?
It really does. Okay, so back to the collision. It was totally out of nowhere. Manson's just skating up the ice, and bam, just slams into Dunning.
Yeah, it looked like he came out of thin air. Like, where did he even come from?
Right. And Dunning went down hard, like stayed down for a while. It was scary. You could see everyone was worried. Players, coaches, fans, everyone.
You could just feel the tension in the arena, right? Waiting to see if he'd get up.
Absolutely. But then, like a small miracle, he starts moving his feet.
And his hand, too. Right. I remember seeing that and thinking, okay, maybe it's not as bad as it looked.
Right. Definitely a good sign. And Manson, he went right over to check on him, too. Like, immediately.
Yeah, you could tell he felt awful about it. Accidents happen, but I bet that's got to weigh on you.
No doubt. And then later, the NHL announced that Dunning was taken to the hospital, but just as a precaution. All his neurological signs were normal. Huge relief.
Oh, thank goodness. You never want to see anyone get seriously hurt out there.
So true. But, I keep thinking about Dunning playing defense in the OHL. That's got to be a factor here, right?
You think his experience as a player helped him?
I mean, maybe. Do you think maybe it helped him react in a way that someone who hadn't played wouldn't have?
It's possible. Think about it. He's been in those high-pressure physical situations before.
Yeah, he knows what it's like to get hit, to be in a scrum.
Yeah.
Maybe that gave him some kind of awareness, some instinct that helped him in that moment.
Yeah, it's like muscle memory almost. You don't forget those things even when you're on the other side of the whistle.
Exactly. I mean, you got to think, officiating in the NHL, that's got to be tough. Those guys are flying around.
It's a fast game, it's physical, and the refs are right in the middle of it all.
So how do they even do it? How do they stay safe when the players are basically missiles on skates?
Well, the league's done a lot to improve safety for officials. There are penalties for hitting them, rules about deliberately making contact. It's taken seriously.
So they're trying to protect them as much as possible.
Definitely. They do a ton of training, too, focusing on positioning and awareness,
Yeah.
trying to anticipate where the play is going and stay out of the way.
So it's not just about calling penalties. It's about knowing where to be and when to be there.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, it's hockey, right? It's fast, it's unpredictable. Sometimes these things are just going to happen.
And you know what? Even with all the rules and training, this incident really highlights the hidden risks in a sport like hockey.
Absolutely. We focus so much on player safety, but the officials are out there too, facing those same dangers.
It makes you realize how much dedication it takes from both the players and the officials. They're putting their bodies on the line every single game.
And it's not just physical risk. Think about the mental pressure too.
What do you mean?
I mean, those refs are making split-second decisions that can change the game, and sometimes they get it wrong.
Yeah, they get yelled at by players, coaches, fans. Have a thick skin.
For sure. And this whole Dunning incident, it really highlights that. It shows the level of commitment it takes to be an NHL official.
You're absolutely right. They're not just skating around calling penalties. They're putting their health and well-being on the line to make sure the game is fair and safe.
Exactly. It's a tough job, and this incident just brings that into focus.
Yeah, really makes you think about the game in a whole new light.
It does. Makes you appreciate the dedication of everyone involved. Players, officials, everyone.
Absolutely. And thankfully, Dunning seems to be doing okay after that scary collision.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Glad he's all right.
Me too. But this whole thing has really made me think about something.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
Well, we talk about resilience in sports a lot, right? But usually it's about players bouncing back from injuries or losses.
Right, that mental toughness.
But what about the officials? They need that same resilience, don't they?
I think so. They're under immense pressure, making tough calls, dealing with the fallout. It's got to take a toll.
So maybe their resilience is just as important as the players.
Maybe even more so. They're kind of the unsung heroes of the game. They don't get the glory, but they're essential to making it all work.
That's a really good point. This deep dive started with a scary incident, but It's really made me appreciate the officials in a whole new way.
Me too. They're a vital part of the game, and we often forget that.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the action and forget about the guys in stripes who are making sure it all runs smoothly. So let's give it up for the refs. They might not score the goals or make the saves, but they're out there every game putting in the work.
Couldn't agree more.
All right, that's another deep dive in the books. Thanks for joining us.
As always, it's been a pleasure.
And until next time, keep those sticks on the ice.
And your heads up.
See you next time.